Are they all in your top 5 favorite bands?
No.
No.
Well, no. I don't know.
So, mine are...
That's a different list, Jim. I'm not prepared to answer that right now.
In the vast, chaotic wilderness of rock history, a great band name is more than just a label. It's an identity, an ethos, a hint at the promise of greatness that may lie within. But for every name that echoes through time, there are 1,000 that sound like Wi-Fi networks you don't trust. So what does make a band name great? Is it mystery, simplicity, swagger, or just dumb luck in a good font? Today, Glen, Dave, and Jimmy don't judge the bad ones. They celebrate the best ones. This is the 5x3's Top 5 Band Names.
Hey, welcome to the 5x3. Appreciate you dropping by, checking it out. This is our top 5 faves by the three of us. And today's episode is Top 5 Band Names. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Glenn.
I'm Dave.
And Dave, you're kicking things off with number 5. What's your number 5 top 5 band names?
My criteria for my favorite band name, not necessarily my favorite bands. I just always thought the names were cool. Although I do like the bands. So my first one, I'm just going to jump in. Metal band out of England, started late 60s, early 70s. Your fave, Aussie, Black Sabbath, number 5 top band name. It's just perfect for them. I mean, because, they're especially like their first album, the first track, they just come out and try to scare everybody. And I think Black Sabbath is like a perfect name for trying to do that. So yes. It just, with Geezer and Tony Iommi, and Bill Ward, it was just perfect for them. Like, I couldn't think of a better band name for that band. So, Black Sabbath, number 5 for me.
100%.
Yeah. Even without knowing what the heck it even meant.
Exactly.
As a kid.
Yeah.
Really, not really any idea of what that was. It just felt evil.
It just felt right.
I found the way I found out about Black Sabbath was my dad had a little cupboard down in the basement, like a little secret thing that had, stuff that no one was supposed to see.
Right.
And one of the things was was a cassette was War Pigs by Black Sabbath.
Your dad hid War Pigs?
Yeah, he had to. Well, because mom was going to church by that time, and so it was like Black Sabbath. That's amazing. And I was like, it was like Electric Funeral, and like it was just like I was like, so that. And I was going to, at that time, they were taking me to church all the time. So I was like, Black Sabbath. And it's hid, Dad's hiding it. I'm like, put it back in. Like, thought my hand was going to burn touching it.
My older brother had their first record, like an LP. And I just would like stare at it and go, well, I don't feel right about that. But then I heard it and I went, this makes perfect sense.
Yep, it
so
does.
Good.
It's the perfect name for them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. So, Glenn, you're number 5.
My number 5 is Kraftwerk.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, that's a good
awesome.
One. Yeah. Thing about names is I never look them up. I never look up origins. I honestly don't care. Like, the name, it either fits or it doesn't. I like it or I don't. But it ultimately, whether you like a name or you don't like a name, it is the band, no matter what. It becomes the band.
Yeah.
And I always felt that Kraftwerk just felt exactly like what they are. And it means power plant in German.
Oh.
Did you know this?
There you go.
No, I didn't.
Now we know.
Power plant.
Yeah.
So
because they were all about that. They were scientists, really. I think they were more scientists than. Well, they all were really good musicians too. I think they were classically trained.
It's a proper German name for a band.
Yeah.
Very much so. And you mentioned earlier not looking up. There's so many bands I have not done that with because I really don't want to know what the origin of their name is because I feel like it'll take away from whatever my perception is of that band.
Yeah,
and that
whatever
name.
you think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was torn about that for this episode because part of me was like, I can't go into an episode about best band names and top 5 band names and not know a bit about
where it came from.
So this is honestly the first time I ever looked into any of these names. And today I learned that Kraftwerk is power plant.
That is awesome. And I know you're a fan. I'm a huge fan. So, all right. You want me to head into my number 5
Jim's
here?
number 5.
Okay, so mine, just a really quick story of how I ever found out about this band was I went to a show thinking they were the opener. Well, it turns out they were the headliner. So the band that I went to see was wrapping up when I got there. Decided to stay and watch the show, and it was the band is Guided by Voices, and they. At the time, they were touring on an album called Do the Collapse that Rick Ocasek had produced. It had that kind of sound, and this band's more known for being a lo-fi band that churns out tons of indie records really fast, and that's really not my jam usually, the lo-fi indie sound, like super lo-fi. We were blown away at the show, and I was just like, I gotta check these guys out and see what's going on, and it turned out we just became really big fans of their music, and yeah, I just love the name, Guided by Voices. I don't know, it's just to me, it's just a cool name. That's it. That's my number 5.
That is a cool name.
Yeah, I have never gone down the exploration.
Yeah, I don't know much
Guided by Voices, but the name, honestly, I'm not just saying this for this, but the name has always stood out. To me.
You guys being from Boston, it's a Rick Ocasek produced record, and it's a super interesting record. It goes all over the place into really interesting, sounds and tones, and but you got this polish on it that Rick did, on the production, which was not their typical thing. So it's a great place to at least check out Do the Collapse. Great record. I recommend everybody check that one out. All right, so we're on to back to you, Dave, with your number 4.
My number 4. So my number 4, I've always loved this name. I don't even really listen to this band, but it's when you look at the world of like speed metal, death metal, thrash metal, there's so many amazing names that are just kind of crazy and nutty. But this is like, and it's not that I like was searching for one crazy one, but this band, I've always just loved their name, and that is Slayer. It just screams metal to me. Like, you know exactly who these people are. If you hear the name Slayer, it's like not necessarily medieval, but it's along those lines. And like there's no confusing like, what I wonder what they're about.
Yeah, somehow
what if they're a pop band?
Yeah, but it isn't I never think of medieval when I think of Slayer. I think of medieval murder.
Yeah,
I think of like just
well, I mean, their album was called Rain and Blood.
Rain and Blood. Yeah, that's what I know. But I've always kind of like respected them too, because I've seen like interviews with the guitar player and like one of the guitar players and stuff. So they're like one of those bands that's kind of on the higher level, the top tier of that kind of world. But it's just a perfect like one word, Slayer, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah. It is. It's almost like it's the band name that doesn't need an exclamation point but has one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. I mean, it doesn't have one, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's like it's the invisible Slayer. It's like I know Slayer.
See, that's how it should be said like that. You need to say it.
Yeah. You can't just go. Yeah, I like Slayer. No, you got to go. I like Slayer.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, band, they've been around forever, and I do respect the hell out of those guys because they just do what they do, and they have no apologies. We're called Slayer, and that's what it's going to be.
I dig it.
And my number 4. All right, Glenn.
Glenn, number 4.
Number 4, Curve.
Oh, wow. Great band.
This is a band commandeering a common word, but it's again, it just becomes the band. And I don't know, it just represents their position in the alternative universe that has a kind of a diehard cult following, I would say. I feel like they're one of those bands I want to share with people that don't know.
And that name really does suit that band. I couldn't tell you why that suits that band, but Curve is the perfect name for whatever reason for that band.
Well, and there's nothing normal. There's nothing normal about Curve.
Yeah, no.
And they still stayed that kind of, they're not underground, but they're always on the fringe of things, and it just, that like their name lent itself to that.
Yeah, there it is. Oh God, I love that record.
It just even looks good, the italic sort of, on a slant of the logo.
I was doing when I was working at Larrabee, I was doing a session with Tim Palmer, who Jim, you know well, and I had the EP on. Is a pubic fruit.
Oh yeah,
I had the EP.
collection.
I was
EPs,
setting up for the session, and I just had Pubic Fruit. I just put it on. I was listening to it, and he walked in, and he was like, "You're listening to Curve?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, his buddy, the engineer Mark. He's like, "Mark, this guy's listening to Curve." I was like, "Okay."
It's exciting.
Is that
when
big
you
a
find
deal?
someone else who listens to Curve.
Right. It's like you're in a club.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I wonder if Tim worked with them. Did he ever work with?
I don't know. Wasn't that always Alan Mulder?
Alan Mulder, and then Ben Gross later on.
Glenn, didn't we see them at the Troubadour?
Yeah, that was awesome. Remember how disappointed we were with the freaking opening act? Freaky Chakra.
The DJ that did nothing.
This is long before DJs like David are sitting there going, I don't get it. I don't understand what this guy's just twiddling knobs.
Yeah, this like nerdy guy came out and started.
Where's Curve?
Yeah, everyone was like throwing at stuff. Like the crowd was not happy. Let's say that.
Not having it.
Yeah, and then that became a thing where
Curve at the Troubadour.
Yeah, that was an interesting show.
Well, that's a great one.
Yeah,
awesome.
great.
All right, so it's back to me.
Jim,
I think
you're number 4.
Okay, so this one is kind of in a completely different genre of music, very much like Dave's last pick of Slayer, but it's the perfect name for this band. They could not have picked a better name. They came out with something to say. They were pissed off. There was a lot of injustice they wanted to talk about, and they did. And it's just the music is, to this day, still easily my favorite hip hop band. But the way they used repetition, I never heard before it, and I've never heard after. The way that they used repetition and samples to make it so effective. And so my number 4 is the perfect name for this band, Public Enemy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So here we go. These guys, it's just, they knew they were going to piss off everybody.
Yeah.
They knew they were going to like make a lot of people upset with the things that they were saying and stuff, but it was a lot of stuff that needed to be said, and they were like, we're going to say it.
Yeah.
And the vessel in which they delivered that, I just found thrilling at that age. I'd heard nothing like it. There wasn't even the NWAs and stuff like that. They were shocking. These guys were like something altogether different. They had the stuff that was, needling, some people who didn't want to hear some of the stuff that they were saying, but the music was just like, what is this? It was just very exciting at the time, and I just think it's a perfect name for them, and so that's why they're my number 4. So
that is a perfect name for them, because you're right. They came out and were like, we have some things to talk about, and we're going to talk about them, and I don't really care if you are mad about it or not.
Exactly. They knew they were getting that. They knew in 1988 or 87, whatever the first one came out. They knew they were getting that sticker slapped on.
Yeah.
And they didn't care. They were just like the metal bands. They were like, we don't care. Go ahead.
Slap it on.
Slap it on there. We'll sell 500,000 more copies.
It's only going to make kids want to buy it more.
Exactly.
It did bother me, though, that sticker. It tainted the purity of the artwork.
I did like that Dee Snider went to Congress and tried to fight it, but
yeah, it's very entertaining watching that footage.
It was watching.
Oh, it's great.
Watching all the rock dudes in Congress.
I've seen that recently. D was on point, man. He was tearing it up back then. He was
smart guy.
All those like Congress people were sitting there going, "Who's this guy with like this hair? Like all down to like."
And Frank
schooling
Zappa
us.
too.
Oh, Zappa schooled him too. Yeah, it made them all look like idiots.
Yeah,
but
a timeless classic on television.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think now we're back to Dave.
Okay, so my number 3. This is one of the biggest bands in the world, but the reason I chose this one, and I do think it's a great name, but I wonder, would this band have been as big as they were without this name? Say they picked a more out there kind of typical metal name. Would they have had the success? Because here it is.
I think I know.
It's Metallica.
I was gonna say. I think.
Yeah, it's
when you said
this sounds controversial, Dave. Are you suggesting Metallica would not be as big as they are if they weren't called Metallica?
I don't know. Ooh. I mean, it's a name that can be talked about by anybody.
Yeah,
it's not Slayer. It's not Cradle of Filth.
It's kind of like why didn't I think of that name? Like I can't believe they got it first. They got that name first.
For the band that is, I've always said this, the whole is greater than the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
They are like, you can't have a more perfect name for this band to reach the heights that they reached.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know exactly what it is.
Right.
You know,
so
it's metal, but it's metal, but it's more than metal.
It's
like
metal,
they added the metallic, it was like metal plus.
It's metal plus, some people that might not necessarily like them if they were called something else.
Yeah,
that might not even listen to them.
It a bit, right?
It lightens it a bit.
It just lightens it a
but
little.
It tells you what they are.
Yes.
It tells you what they are.
Yes.
Here's who I am. Before we meet, I'm going to tell you I'm this, and
but the thing
that makes you a little more comfortable.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Yeah. Don't be scared.
I kind of doubt that they had the forethought to think like that. But back in 1982, when they're in a garage in Corona or wherever they were from. But
it's an amazing.
But it's an amazing name, and I think it really helped them.
I do too, 100%.
So, is it?
I
mean,
and I do love the name.
named,
I mean, it's a perfect metal band name.
I mean, they probably could have been called Dog Food, and they probably still would have a legion of fans. But they would
not have reached. They would not have sold 15 million records.
They wouldn't have. No. It's a perfect name, and a lot of that has to do with marketing as well. They had a great logo. You guys know, is being in bands when you were in high school and stuff. You're drawing all kinds of stuff on your notebooks.
I think their logo is really good too. At least like their early stuff.
Yeah, it's an awesome logo.
Really good.
It's an awesome
logo.
How
many kids drew that on their books when their books are covered with paper?
I love the cover of that.
Yeah, the first person to draw that ever was probably one of the guys in the band drawing on their notebook.
Lars.
They're probably so young. Yeah.
A brilliant name. Yeah, my number 3. Glenn.
Absolutely. Nice. Glenn, you're number 3.
My number 3 is Iron Maiden.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
I was hoping someone would
and I like that you showed Peace of Mind too. That's good.
Yeah,
come on.
It's just it's
a medieval torture device.
Right.
Right.
Evidently Steve Harris came up with this name. He was inspired by the movie The Man in the Iron Mask. I think this is just one of those things like, got a metal band going. Iron Maiden sounds freaking awesome.
It just sounds great.
I mean, Glenn just put it in a nutshell right there.
It just sounds great.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's Iron Maiden. Yeah.
And then whoever, you guys probably know, I don't know who came up with that font and the whole, I mean, it's just perfect.
Their kind of marketing thing of like they're with Eddie and the whole, like everything's so, all their album covers are so detailed and so great. Like when it comes to that sort of stuff, like creating a world with their artwork, Iron Maiden is almost like second to none.
Really? And on a global level.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
I mean, there are very few bands, whatever genre you're in, that are as global as Iron Maiden.
They play everywhere. Like there's a documentary a few years ago about them. They're one of their world tours and how they flew their own plane around the world.
Yeah.
And Bruce
Flight
Dickinson
666, right?
Bruce Dickinson is flying the plane around the
He's
world.
the captain.
He's the captain.
Amazing.
It's
Captain
amazing.
Bruce.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's a serious operation.
Yeah. I mean, more power to them. Good for them.
All right, Jim, you're up.
Jim, number 3.
All right, here we go. This is just this one will be quick and we've talked about this band before, and their producer was talking about their sound, and was like, "Oh, I think you guys should be Queens of the Stone Age." Mm-hmm. It's just, to me, it's just a cool name.
It is really cool. Yeah.
Queens
it's
Queens
just
of the
straight
Stone.
up cool.
Yeah. It's just straight up cool. There's nothing else to say about it.
It has
really.
a good like rhythm to it. Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
It's ominous. There's something mystical about it or something, like mysterious. It's just like Queens of the Stone Age. It's like,
Yeah.
somehow it still sounds like rock and it fits them, but it has and one thing that they said originally was like, well, you wouldn't want to be Kings of the Stone Age because that sounds too machismo or something. So they were like, let's make it
metal.
Queens.
That's kind of metal. Yeah, you throw Queens in there and now you don't know really what it is. It doesn't pigeonhole them. Yeah.
That little switch that they made with the word made all the difference. It should be hard enough for the guys and have, enough. He's got this whole balance that he wants. He doesn't want to just have, a gazillion dudes at the concerts. And he was very smart that way.
Yeah.
So anyway, Cool name, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Queens of the Stone Age. That's
cool
my
name.
number 3. Yeah, that's my number 3. And so shifting it over to Dave again.
Yes. My number 2. This one I just have always loved. I think the best trio rock band that's ever been, The Police. Just simple, just memorable. Like it was just a great name. Also, I love bands that have the Police.
Yeah.
Just it's just so cool. I think it's a great name for a trio for some reason. I don't know why that sticks in my head.
It's awesome. And somehow it doesn't even, I don't even think of actual police ever.
No, exactly.
It's a different, they've redefined the word.
They've
for
redefined
themselves.
the word.
It has nothing to do.
Yeah, nothing to do with the police.
With law enforcement. No.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. It's actually a tricky name when you think about it. If you come out and you call yourselves the Police in the middle of the punk rock movement,
Could go
not
the
a very
wrong way,
popular.
Right.
The
Right.
punks did not, and they were punk when they came
Right,
out.
yeah.
I mean, their first music was very punk, and you're going to call yourself the Police. Everyone hates the Police at that time.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
I think they, based on what I've seen some stuff where like they had a hard time kind of getting into that world at first, but then with their live shows, like once people started seeing them live, they were like, okay, we get it, like because they did. Were they super punk? No, but they had a little bit of that punk attitude. I think like Stuart Copeland behind the drums, just not giving a and just going for it.
Yeah, but, I mean the early stuff,
I know,
like
but
Fallout and stuff like that. That was, that was definitely more like straight ahead punk. They eventually, well, pretty quickly shifted. Yeah,
I wish I was able to see them in their heyday. That's one of my biggest things. I wish I could have seen, a Police show when they're like in their prime. Would have been great.
Yeah. So I got a thing with the because there's those bands. Do you know the bands I'm talking about? There's bands that if you say the whoever, someone, a snob or something will correct you. Go, it's not the. There's no the in their band name.
Like Scorpions.
Yeah. It's not the
right. It's not
there
the
you go.
Scorpions.
It's not the Scorpions.
Right.
It's Scorpions. And then there's the bands that had the in their name. And took it away.
Oh, who?
And then confused everybody.
Who took it away?
The Pretenders.
Oh,
They got rid of
did.
the.
They did.
And it's like, you just made my life way more complicated. I blocked it out now.
Yeah. No, it's the Pretenders.
Well, the Police never did, so they were fine.
Yeah. Police might have been a whole nother story. It might not have worked without the.
Oh no!
Just Police?
No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The is important in many of these situations. You can't be Strokes. You got to be the Strokes.
Right. Yeah.
It's totally different.
It's totally different. Yeah. Well, that's my number 2, Glenn. Number 2.
My number 2 is Aerosmith.
Oh, yes.
It's just so delightful.
Now, there is a story behind this.
I've always felt that it was like a family name for the band, like I know it's not a family name, but it always felt like they have a name they are the only people with this name, but they all share it.
Right.
And it just has such a nice flow, Aerosmith. And I never questioned what it was. I never looked into it. It was just them. It was just they just owned it. It was so unique to me. But yeah, so there is a story, bit of a story. I had to look into it. I needed to know. Right? It's time. It's finally time.
It's time.
You know what? It's so funny because I looked them up yesterday. I was like, "What's the origin of that name?" So yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'm
just
glad you did.
real brief with it. So Joey Kramer was inspired by a Harry Nilsson album, Aerial Ballet. And then started playing around with words using arrow and quote, and it was like Aeromind, Aerostar, Aero this, Aero that. And somebody said in this process, Smith.
Like, how could they be anything else? That band could not be anything else besides this made-up word that isn't even a word.
It's not even a word.
And yet, if
works.
you said, no, that band's called this, any other word would be wrong. You'd
Right,
go, no.
yeah, exactly.
You play Dream On, and that can't be any other
Yeah.
thing but Aerosmith. What would be interesting to follow up with that is how many bands have actually completely made up names that don't exist that were actually that successful, that are just made up names.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
because I bet that's not a lot.
Hard to do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easier to connect, you know, with something that's actually a word, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure they had some pushback from their label when they came to the label when they first started and were like, we want to be Aerosmith. And they're like, what's that?
Well, when you
What
come
is
to them
that?
with a song like Dream On, you can name yourself whatever you want.
That's true. That's true.
You want to be called what? Oh, Dream On? Okay, cool.
Sure.
Whatever you
Anything
want.
man. All right. Aerosmith, Glen's number 2.
Yeah, Jim, you're number 2.
My number 2 is there is a little funny story behind them, and it's quick. But they put this name on their original demo that they made to give to like labels and stuff, and to get attention, they wanted to be as over the top and pompous and, you know, just ridiculous, sound like this pretentious, arrogant, you know, name, just so that their thinking is that who would name their band this? You know, when they're sending out their demo tapes, like we're going to have to listen to this because how would someone name themselves this, whatever this name? They were just, as the Brits say, taking the piss, you know, that they were just having a laugh about it. Well, turns out everyone liked it. Everyone thought it was really memorable and really cool. And I've always thought, I mean, I had the same reaction when I first saw it. I was like, what is that? Well, I mean, whatever that is, I don't know. It sounds weird, and I got to check it out. They're such a great band, and they're still going in their 60s, and they're phenomenal live. And this is Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. Mm-hmm. Just an odd name. Of course, it got shortened at one point to OMD, but they still go by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. But I think it's just funny that was the most sort of pretentious, obnoxious thing that they could think of to put on a demo tape as who they were, and then it stuck, and people were
so
like,
good.
"Oh."
It's so good though. Either way, I mean, an OMD is a cool,
it's a cool shortening of it.
abbreviation.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
But
Yeah,
it's
they
true.
kinda hit it
It's
out of
true.
the
Like
park with that one.
if someone sent you a whatever back in those days, cassette or whatever, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, you'd be like, "What is that? I should probably listen to it."
it sounds serious. It sounds critically acclaimed.
Yeah,
Automatically.
exactly. Yeah, right.
Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark.
It's to be taken seriously.
If you guys ever get a chance to see them, they're so, you can't believe how much energy the lead singer has. He just runs around and dances, and he's just like, he's got the crowd going crazy, and you can't believe how many songs you know that you don't realize you know by them.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not they're not the If You Leave band. They're not that. They're not that pop band that had the Pretty in Pink song. So for anybody out there who has not checked them out and likes, early electronic music in the vein of like the early like Human League stuff and stuff, like they were the OMD, they were early pioneers.
Super early.
They were early with
And I
like
was
craft
super
work
late
and,
to the game though, as far as discovering them. And then it was that doc, that Synth Britannia. That's where I learned the most about them.
Right.
yeah.
And I mean that if anyone hasn't seen that, you got to go see it. As far as an education on early synth music in England, it's incredible.
Yeah, Cabaret Voltaire, all the early stuff. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
It's a good one. So those guys are my number 2, and we're just swinging over to Dave.
Right. So my number 1 best band name ever. This one I'm completely biased. I'm going for the hometown team. This band has been in my life since I can ever remember. It's Boston. Just Boston. I'm just doing it.
What a homer!
I know.
Oh
I
my
don't care.
God, the most homer
I
thing
don't
ever.
care.
I love that you don't care.
How
dare
just,
you.
It's just.
Was I just talking about pretentiousness? Was I just talking
you
about?
can call me that. It's fine. It's I take pride in the fact that the Boston
No,
is a
it's
great
not-
band.
it's not pretentious.
I do think it's a good name because I'm all about, a lot of it's for me is about simplicity and just not, you don't really need too much. And such a great band. Short, their career, Tom Schultz, the whole thing, the story of how they started and him in his basement doing all this stuff. It's been in my life forever. I mean, I can listen to that first record, until the end of time. And I think it's just, I'm doing it. I'm going hometown team. It's just
I
Boston.
applaud it. I'm just kidding. It's not pretentious at all. It's pride. It's pride. And you have, like you said, it's your civic duty as
It's
a
my civic
Bostonian.
duty. Exactly. I had to represent It's a great band
name. That record's like just hard to beat. I mean, I don't know if I had to go into a shootout with a record, I might bring Boston with me, you know?
I mean, it's almost a perfect record for at the time, for what it was. And like, no one had done anything like that before. Like, just the sounds he was creating, the voices, the everything, the songwriting, it's perfect. It's almost a perfect record.
In his basement.
I know.
For those of you who do not know Boston, because I mean they are a band that was. I mean, this record came out in the
76,
70s,
76,
mid 70s, basically.
Yeah.
This guy did the record in his basement. No one was doing that then. Everyone makes records in their bedroom now. No one did then.
Tom Schultz played everything but the drums and vocals. He did everything else, literally everything.
Yeah,
himself. The fact that he created all those like the guitar sounds in his basement is amazing to me. You know, it's just
just the sounds he got off of it. I mean, how do you make that record sound like that? I still to this day I don't understand how you just put together a studio in 1976 in your basement and make it one of the best sounding records of all time. It just doesn't.
He's Tom Schultz. That's just what he does. So forgive me for being the hometown homer, but
I love it, Dave.
I just did it.
That might be my favorite pick of all the picks of any episode we've ever had. Dave just going not even.
I'm
Glenn,
not
even two. I'm not even two.
I'm not apologizing.
Yeah, the safe bet would have been 2.
No,
but he's like,
put it on 1.
No,
in for a penny, in for a pound. Dave's like, I'm going number 1, baby.
Why not? Why not?
Give me some Boston.
Nice.
Anyway, all right, Glenn, number 1.
My number 1. Well, this is going to be no surprise to you guys.
Yeah,
it's Kiss.
Yeah,
come on. You know, talk about commandeering a common word. Just look at it. Just look at it. By the way, this is a very special version of Alive 2 with the blue.
Yeah, the blue. I've not seen the blue.
It's a newer reissue.
I think everyone might have known this was coming based on the poster behind you, and. Yeah, no way it was going to make mine because I'm not treading on Glenn's Kiss turf.
You can't.
So there's so much there kind of to unpack. I mean, they're the greatest branding machine of all time. The way the logo, the font is the most famous font maybe ever, you know, of Kiss. So is it the name? Is it the font? So where are you at with all this? There's a lot with Kiss. Is it the name? Is it actually Kiss?
It's the name, and it's how the name works in this scenario for a band. I mean, the word itself has quite a few. It can provoke quite a few feelings, from a light kiss to a passionate kiss. There's like and everything in between, and then things that have kind of nothing to do with an actual kiss. It's more of a kind of like what you're saying with Metallica adding the at the, kind of lightening up a bit. I think it's very present and suggestive and assertive, but it doesn't exclude anybody. Like it doesn't go one direction too hard. It can kind of be up to the viewer to decide what it means for them. Who doesn't like the word kiss? I mean, it's a
good word.
It has such a generally has such a positive vibe on it.
Yeah.
I think everyone looks at kiss, the word, as it can be more than one thing. It can be more than a smooch.
To me, it was also like, I don't know. There's something about there's 4 letters, there's 4 members, the whole makeup thing. Like it had a touch of mystery to it.
Yeah.
It just I mean, I started listening to Kiss when I was like 5 years old. It's easy to say for a kid, like you can.
Well, and they
there's
found
so many
a very
things.
safe way to sexualize a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately what they did. I mean, it's the whole rock and roll element. It's in there. It's packed in that name.
Innocent word with a not innocent band.
Yeah.
So that combo, I think, is part of the magic. You got something innocent as a Kiss, and you got these guys that look as dangerous. I mean, Mom does not want anyone around these guys,
Yeah.
So I think that as part of it, maybe it is that. Maybe it's that, part of it, that magic is that, too.
Legend has it that they're driving around together, and Peter's talking about a band he used to be in called Lips, and then Paul Stanley's inspired to say Kiss. How about Kiss? And that was that. And then Ace came up with the logo. But then Paul redrew the logo and accidentally did not make the S's parallel. So I don't know if you ever noticed, if you look at the S's, they are not perfectly parallel. They're slightly different.
Off.
Yeah.
And that's something Paul did, and they just kept it that way.
And so Paul gets the credit for creating the logo.
Paul created the logo.
Sure.
Sorry, Ace.
He trademarked it already.
Sounds like a Kiss story.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Right about right.
But that's, it's hard to have a band name conversation without talking about logos. I mean, because that's a whole nother list. But part of a name is how well it can work in a logo.
Well, they'd have to be number
4
one.
letters, and
They'd have to. Yeah. They're number one on that list, so we don't even need to do that list because we already know your number. Yeah. Because think about like the concerts too, the lights, how they had the big giant spots early on.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So it was like they made the word Kiss their own. It was just they became the way not just the stylistically with the font, but then do you remember the stickers and the prism? The prism stickers.
So many things they had.
I mean, you had to have a Prism Kiss sticker. The Prism was cool. It was all that, early 80s. I don't know. I guess that was, early 70s, but late 70s.
And then just talk about masters of marketing. I mean, they had so many things. Like as a kid back then, you just had to have everything. All the posters that came in, the records, the Love Gun, and all that stuff.
Glenn could do a 4-hour show on the name Kiss, I would imagine, and. So we don't want to. I don't want to cut you off here at all. If you want to,
there's plenty of time to talk about Kiss.
Yeah. If you want to let loose, you tell us more about that name.
This will not be the last time that Kiss is brought up on one of these shows. All right, Jim.
So you good?
Jim, you're number 1.
My number 1.
Yeah.
Well, this goes to Glenn. Looks a little sad. Like he's like. Are you
more to go?
Do you want to keep going with Kiss? You look sad that it's over.
I'm okay.
Dave, Glenn's sad.
No, he's not sad. He's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine, Jim. Give us your number 1 and let's go to bed. All right. All right. So my number 1 it goes back to some of the ones you guys have talked about. The lightning in a bottle thing. It's lightning in a bottle. It's the timing when it came out. The perfect name, and you beat everybody. Metallica would be a great example. I think that was one of the ones that I thought, oh, wow, same real different, completely different genre of music, but perfect for it. So this to me was lightning in a bottle. They beat everybody to the punch. It's the perfect name for this band. When these guys started out, they were, they're considered the godfathers of punk, and if this is not the perfect name for a band, The Clash.
Yeah.
To describe punk rock and the ethos and the attitude and the mantra of that whole movement and scene, The Clash to me just chef's kiss. You nailed it.
Again with the Clash. It's perfect.
I love the name just because it's so right and it's so for them in that moment too. It wasn't just shock. You had the Sex Pistols, but that was just for shock. It was like these guys were quality. I mean, there was quality all over this band. If you start to dig into these guys and realize how talented they were, musically, it might not be for everybody. And it's like, there's also those songs like Should I Stay or Should I Go? The popular ones, Rock the Casbah. Those are not, songs that are even like on my list of favorite, Clash songs. It's all the deep stuff that's fantastic about the Clash. So, although I will say, "Rock the Casbah" was amazing.
It's pretty good.
The piano in that was written by the drummer. Like, and he wrote the whole part. And
drummers will do that.
Yeah.
Glenn can tickle the ivories.
Yeah.
So
I did think like the Clash was one of those bands. Like I said, that they were like a step above their genre almost, like
smarter.
They're smarter, like better musicianship. They kind of like they had a great mix of people in the band.
they did the thing that the police ended up doing. And I think they took a cue from the Clash, to be honest. I think the police really were influenced by it, because the Clash came out and started doing those like reggae type beats and guitar parts early on, which really threw critics and people like that. I mean, they got bashed a little bit for weaving out of their lane, and they were one of the early bands that I knew of that was like, taking those chances and weaving into other styles of music and stuff. They were willing to take risks, and I thought that was really cool about them. I wish they would have never made their last record.
That's what it was. So sometimes great bands do. It doesn't always work, but great bands try to stretch things a little bit. Say what else? They don't just repeat the same thing over and over again. It might work. You might sell records doing that, but as artists, you typically don't do, like, they try new things. And it doesn't always work, but when it does, it's fantastic.
I'm going to rattle off real quick here, just because we do have a little extra time. I'm going to rattle off. So I don't know if you guys have lists that were extras that you had to battle through to figure out which were going to be. But I have a long list here of ones that I like. But the Heartbreakers, Catherine Wheel, which is cousin of. I didn't want to mention it during Iron Maiden in case someone picked Catherine Wheel, but that's Bruce Dickinson's cousin. And Catherine Wheel is another torture device. That's what a Catherine Wheel is. The Art of Noise, Guns N' Roses, Love and Rockets, Ministry, Echo and the Bunnymen, The Dream Academy, The Stone Roses, Primal Scream, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Quiet Riot, Tears for Fears, The Specials, Simple Minds, Massive Attack, Radiohead, Blood, Sweat and Tears, Twisted Sister, Blue Oyster Cult, just because it's so weird. What's a Blue Oyster? Why is there a cult around it? The Tear Garden, the Jesus and Mary Chain, Motley Crue, Metallica, you said, Cheap Trick, the Chameleons, and the Blackhearts.
I also had like REO Speedwagon, Styx, Supertramp, Rage Against the Machine. Curve was on my big list. Kiss was on my big list, but I had the forethought to say I should not do that.
No, don't touch Kiss ever.
No,
don't even put a Kiss song on any list.
You will never hear me say a Kiss song.
Kiss song on a list, you got to put it on.
No, I know. I will.
No
I
way.
will when I have to. I will when I have to.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what REO Speedwagon?
I do. It was a car company and because I looked it up. I was like, what the hell? What is an REO Speedwagon? It's a car. There was an REO auto company. And created by some guy. I can't remember the name of the guy, but they had something called a Speedwagon.
They had a Speedwagon?
Yeah.
Dave had a station wagon in high school. I
did.
Know that.
I did.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It was not
you
wood.
Had a station wagon?
Not wood paneled.
It was not wood paneled, just a gray.
It was a station wagon.
It was a gray Pontiac Bonneville station wagon.
Yeah. Wow. How'd you come into that? Into possession of that
my parents.
automobile?
It was handed down from my parents. It was their car, and then they gave it to me.
There were a lot of station wagons.
No one
back
seemed
then.
to care. I don't know.
No, station wagons were they were a thing.
Yeah,
they were a thing. All right. So
yeah,
but probably perfect for the band though. You could dump.
Well, great for my guitar, all my amps.
Slide the amp in the back.
Does Glenn try to squeeze his drums back there?
Well, we had a Suburban, so I would literally just lower my cymbal stands, just lower them with
everything
the cymbals
everything would be standing up in the back of the Suburban.
Wow.
Right.
The Suburban.
Yeah.
Wow, the multi-purpose attack vehicle.
Not an REO Speedwagon.
It was not an REO Speedwagon.
What is? There's not many things that can match one of those. So, did you have any other ones on there, Dave?
No.
And Glenn, did you have any?
No, I stopped at 5.
Glenn just stopped.
Glenn, as I said, it's not a competition.
He's like, I didn't consider any other ones.
I did not consider any.
The 5.
There are no others besides these. There's only 5.
I have like 47 names I just listed off. Glenn's like, no, I didn't even think about
Glenn's
it.
Glenn's just very decisive. He
is.
Jim, you're the least decisive, and then
I am
somewhere in the middle.
It shows in the show. I sit here and ramble and stuff.
I do have to make a list, and then I cut it down. Glenn just says, these are my 5, and there's nothing else. Once I make the big list, then it's very much just a gut feeling. Like, it's like, okay, these are the 5 I'm going with.
Yeah, because the show has no rules as well. They can always be revisited. We reserve the right to revisit these lists.
Well, yeah, all these lists are as of today.
Yeah, and in the event that anyone's still listening, they're reviewing this.
If you've made it this far.
Right, if you've made it this far.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Now you're going to hear the real story.
So we really do want to see everyone else's comments. That's what's fun about this. We really want to do this because it's like, you know, sort of have a community where we can like check out other stuff too. We're just huge music fans. We're musicians and music fans and students of music, whatever. And we just, you know, I love hearing about other people's music. I love hearing about what other people like. And so I can go check it out. And if it's a favorite of like you guys, and then they're, and people are passionately writing in the comments that they love this and this is my number one without a doubt, you know, and how about this great band name or whatever, and we're gonna sit there and go, oh my god, that's a great name, you know, how did we miss that one? So we're gonna miss stuff. You can't go through every record or every, you know, artist or every song that's ever been played when we create these shows, so we're gonna miss stuff. So that's what's fun, if people will join in and add stuff in the comments. So with that said, maybe we should wrap this one up. Keep it tight so you guys aren't editing for the next week, and sign off. Unless you guys want to add anything.
I don't think so.
All right, we're the 5. Let me sign off. All right, thanks for watching. We're the 5x3. We'll see you next time.